Hi, my name's Alex Josh, and I'm the host of Mindful AI Coding. Today, we're going to talk about architecture, one of my favorite subjects. One of the things that we see with vibe coding is that architecture often falls to the wayside or is simply ignored. And that's really unfortunate because a good architecture can help your site survive and grow and thrive. If you watch the demos of various AI coding tools, what you'll see is that they show off a workflow that's pretty simplistic. You basically say, make me some software, and then magic happens, and then you click on the UI and things work. That's just not reality. That's not the way you really want to do things. This may or may not produce good software. The problem is that there's a million ways to write a piece of software, and so the AI will simply pick one. Is that the right one? I don't know. AI doesn't know. There's no context, there's no information, there's nothing. Architecture requires context. You have to know the goals, you have to know the shape of the thing, you have to know how big it is, you have to know where it's going to go, you have to know where it's going to do. All these things matter before you can make architectural choices. If you don't inform the AI about these things, it's impossible for the AI. It's impossible for a human to have a good architecture based on that limited information. The difference is that a human architect will stop and say, no, I'm not going to do this. And AI will just do it for you. Maybe well, maybe poorly, you don't know. So that's not really where you want to be. And you see, and this is not theory, by the way. You see this all the time. I run into people daily that have built something in AI. It looks really good. It seems okay. They go and they start using it, and then bang, they ran into a pretty severe wall. Either that it doesn't scale, or they can't modify it, or it's insecure, or something happens where they just get stuck. And what you see is that their forward progress just slams to a halt, and they just can't fix it. And they could be days, weeks, months into this thing, and now you have to unwind all that. That's not where they want to be. It's a very painful process, and you see it happening again and again and again. So what I tend to do is I tend to start with simple concepts like microservices. And even though I just said the architecture is different every time, there's actually some core patterns that you can use and reuse, like microservices, for example. And these patterns allow you to kind of jump ahead into the process. And so you don't need to spend months planning your architecture. You can spend an hour on this working with your AI, and you're going to be way better off than if you don't bring it up at all. So this is not an all or nothing kind of thing. You don't have to spend huge amounts of times doing analysis. You can jump ahead and say, I want a 3-tier microservices based site that does this. Things like that, just simple things like that will get your AI miles ahead. For me, it turns out microservices is one of those default patterns that I like. Doesn't solve all problems, but it's so common. And the reason why it works is because it allows you to have a relatively small surface area. Each backend service is relatively small. And so what happens is later when you want to modify the service, the amount of code that you're trying to change is relatively small. For an LLM, this is really important because context window management is one of the key factors that controls performance for LLMs. So a small context window, i.e. less code, means most likely higher result. And so microservices means you have lots and lots and lots of small pieces of code that you modify independently. Amazingly, AI is really good at that. So I do like this pattern quite a bit. And so I'll usually just start here and then use that as input to the model. You still have to plan, you still have to give it feedback, you still have to do your due diligence, but it's a jumping off point. Really, what I'm trying to tell you here is you want to be methodical. Start with good requirements, have the AI build up an architecture plan. Yes, you can shortcut the process with things like uh, microservices. Then go to an implementation plan. So require the AI to give you a written plan. Then take that plan and feed it back to the AI and say, if you were to implement this architecture, how would you do it? Now you have two separate sessions answering basically the same question, less likely for error, less likely for some mistakes, less likely for the same hallucination to occur again and again. Then and only then you can go to implementation. Then from implementation, then you go to testing, right? So trust but verify. And then when you're done, you think you're completely, then you audit. So this methodical process will produce a much, much higher result. Yes, it's a little slower, but it's still millions of times faster than doing this the traditional way and hand coding your site. Okay, so that's just a really quick discussion about architecture. This is part of the much larger uh, Mindful AI class, and I hope you join us. It's on Maven, and the link is below. Thank you so much for your time.